All right, welcome to the Lions Den, everybody. Today we want to talk about Nipsey Hussle and was he sent from God? All right, I bring this question up because we're talking about someone who lived a life in a way, I said in a way, that was exemplary. A life in a way that was something that many of our children should look at and think about if they go in the wrong path and how they can turn their life around and take something that people consider negative and make it very positive. That's right. The way you can take something that's negative and make it into something positive. I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about how this is a man who was a leader. Sometimes God sends people and he does it, and he doesn't want them to be what you consider the perfect person, the perfect leader, the perfect prophet, the perfect one amongst us is not what sometimes the Lord sends. All right, and he does that for a reason. When you look and you see, when you send somebody that's perfect, somebody that's like you, maybe you perfect. I'm far from perfect. You send somebody like me, you send somebody like, that's not of that lifestyle. Because let's face it, most of us are not of that lifestyle. We don't live that life. We're not part of that life. So you send somebody like us. There are people out there that can't relate. Right? The people you need to touch, you can't relate. But it's almost like maybe, just maybe, God sent Nipsey so that many of the youth who are in that situation, who are dealing with the same day-to-day issues, who are in the violence of the gangs and you name it, in the streets. Maybe he was sent to touch people. And I think he did. And he touched people, not just people in the streets, but he touched people, black people and people in general throughout this country and maybe throughout this world. All right, you take his life as a youngster. Very smart, very intelligent young man. They said that Nipsey, when they tested him, the psychologists, they tested him, and they found out that, he had a very high IQ. The young man graduated, if I'm not mistaken, valedictorian of his class. He was one of the first. He was very smart in high school, very smart. He wanted to always get into music. He lived in the community in LA, that area. All right, in that Crenshaw area, and he decided, of course, he joined the gang, but that's not the point. The point is that never judge a book by its cover, because when you look at it, some of the smartest, most brilliant brothers are in these situations. They're in the institutions, not always your colleges, but they're in the institutions which were brought by the belly of the beast in Babylon, as we know, to be the prison industrial complex. They're in there, or they're on these streets. And Nipsey, even though he was in the streets, after a while he was not of the streets. He was in the streets, but after a while he had a greater mission. And what did he show us? He showed young men that it's not all about the initial part of your career. Like a lot of people think you've arrived because you are doing well, making a lot of money, making a lot of cash, that you've arrived. When in fact, you really haven't arrived until you do what? Until you reach back to your people and start empowering your people economically. You can be a rapper. These kids say, oh, they want to rap, or they want to be an entertainer. His life was not about that. His life was doing those things to get further to help his people further in other ways. It wasn't to sit back, rap, and to have a bunch of cars, have a bunch of females around, having sex all the time, doing drugs all the time, and throwing money all around. That wasn't his life. And that's what he's teaching our kids. What to do with their money. To put the money back in the community. He was sent from a higher place. Sent from a higher place. A lot of us talk about economic empowerment. We talk about what we need to do in the community. But he wasn't talking it. He was walking it and living it right. That's telling us something right now, y'all. That's telling us that we need to get it together. He's telling us. This brother, parent from Africa, Eritrean, not even African American, because let's make this clear. He was African American, but in particular Eritrean, African American. And a lot of times when you see people who come from these communities, these different communities, they separate themselves from our struggle. He was a part of our struggle. He was our struggle. He embodied our struggle, but he didn't have to. He could have easily gone on after high school, gone on to college, and stayed within his community like his father, the Eritrean community, and then that. But he didn't. He loved the African American community so much that he set his business up in the community because he wanted to see the community grow and prosper. Economic empowerment. Other ethnicities do this. And he was trying to show us that this is the way it should be done. Not just you getting a whole lot of money and moving somewhere else. This goes for the entertainers. This goes for your artists, your rappers, so on and so forth, your actors and actresses. But this also goes to the professionals. The doctors, the lawyers, the teachers. The people who have the paper and are getting the paper. That's right, the people who have the paper, meaning degrees, and the people who are getting the paper, the money. He didn't just move out. He made sure that he empowered not only himself, but his people. And he hired the people in the community. He was in that shop most of the time, a lot of times, a lot of days working or managing his shop, or had his brother managing the shop, showing you that this is the way to do it. Showing you that if you want to take back your community and you want to stop people invading your community, foreign invaders, you want to stop the politicians from destroying your community, then this is what you need to do. Own is what he's teaching our children. Own something. Instead of always working for someone, own something. And if you do work for someone, you can still own something. That's what he's trying to teach. That's why I say this man was sent from God. The ideas and concepts are there. They're there. Of empowering ourselves in the community. Of doing the right things in the community. Because you realize once we have this, we have everything that we need. That's right. Let me say that again. Once we start owning the businesses in the community, Nipsey knew that we had everything that we needed. Everything. You don't have to go outside of your community to eventually get a job if we started buying back the way he bought back. This guy was forward thinking and learning about cryptocurrency and all different types of things. In low income housing, he was going to start up. He was sparking that up too, trying to get that going, where he was going to found somewhere in that part of LA, doing something for the people in the community who were working, hard working. Black Wall Street. Don't just talk about it, be about it. We can do a whole lot of things culturally. You can say you're proud of who you are, but all of that means nothing if you don't control the resources to control some of the things in your community. That's the most important part. That's the most important part. You see the other communities do it. You see it. And he was trying to show the youth that you can do it at his age. Young man with a plan. I hope you understand this, y'all. I hope you understand and grasp these concepts because our children need to know this. It's time, y'all, to start this. Investing. When you have something, invest it back in the community. People will tell you, stay away from the community, man. But then what are you willing to do? Put your dollars somewhere where you're not wanted, when you can put your dollars into something and support it that will help your people. That's right. This is deeper than us being equal. This is about us doing the right thing by us. You know, Marathon clothing was for us, by us, literally. That's right. Marathon clothing was for us, by us, literally. Something to be proud of. Something he was proud of. He didn't shy away from his people. He didn't move out and not give back. He gave that helping hand. That's why I say it's possible this man was sent by God to teach us, as well as the youth, the ones that are younger than us, how to do this and what to do. So I just want you to, sit back and just think about this when you decide on how much money you want to make, what car you want to drive, what community you want to live in. Whatever you want to do, you need to do one thing. Make sure that you're giving back in some shape, form, or fashion to empower not only yourself but your people. You can create jobs for your children and your children's children, but you also need to empower those that are around you, your people. Empower them. Give them an opportunity. Because if you don't, the communities are going. You see that. Gentrification seems like it's helping, but it's breaking up many of the communities and people who lived there for years. But once you own economically, you empowered yourself. There's so much more that you can do, and he's given us that example. Take that example, use that example, and the youth need to run with it, and so do we. Many of our athletes, if you're not doing these type of things, you need to start doing them and consider it when you have the cash ready. And if you don't have the cash ready, there's so many other options that you have to invest. Even if you're going to buy your material, your clothing, whatever it is, food, whatever, buy it from people in that community that represent you. Do that. We will have nothing if we don't do that. And all we'll do is have a bunch of talk, a bunch of babbling bull. That's right, a bunch of babbling bullshit. That's all it's going to be if we don't start owning these things. So I want us to get this clear and understand this, because once we have this picture and we have a plan, like Nipsey had a plan, you can do anything. People would have thought he was crazy to go. You're gonna buy that area out? You're gonna buy that? Are you kidding? You're gonna buy that lot out? You're gonna buy that? No, you're gonna buy that business? Come on, give me a break, man. And then turn it around and make it profitable? You know how hard that is? That's what people would have said to him. Just go on and rap. Just go on and rap. You're doing good rapping. Just go on. Just don't even worry about all that. Don't even concern yourself. Interest. Don't even get into that. Because it's going to cause you trouble and you're going to lose. If we have that mindset where we think we're going to lose and don't want to take a chance, then we've already lost. We've already lost. It's time to start taking chances, because guess what? We have everything to gain. Everything. Alright? So these are things I want us to just think about, and just think to yourself. Was this man Nipsey Hussle, was he sent by God for a greater cause for us? Once again, thanks for tuning into the Lion's Den. Until next time, peace.